Hello everybody, and welcome to another one-on-one from the Roundtable series. It's a pleasure and honor to have today with us Tseng, the president and founder of Acaia. I think that everybody on the coffee industry know Acaia skills, and it's a really pleasure to have you with us, Rex.
Thank you, Yannis, and very nice to meet you all here. And I'm very glad to be here and safe and healthy. Thank you very much.
So, Rex, I know that you're in Taipei now. Taiwan has been doing amazing over the last weeks on this pandemic, even though for any political reasons around the world, they didn't have the support from WHO. But it's a place that the rest of the world sees, and we would definitely like to get the positive out of that and replicate around the world. So you spend your time between San Francisco, Taiwan, and Acaia. It's a really international business. So what has been the challenges and your experiences until today?
So for Acaia, we have 4 offices, and basically one in San Francisco or Portland, and one in Taipei. We have just recently established our European office in Netherlands, and we have also a very tiny office in Japan. So it's kind of lucky to say that, okay, we have several locations, and at the time the pandemic happened, where most of our staff actually work from home. So it's been very fortunate. So we're kind of used to working from home and working remotely. And once the outbreak happens, we're very lucky that most of our team members are safe and healthy around the world. But we also observe different situations around different countries. And also very fortunate that in Taiwan, the government acted pretty quickly. And so it's relatively safer in my opinion here at this moment. But I think around the world, each country is facing their own difficulties, and it's very hard to say that you can replicate any successful experience, because each country has different situations and different rules, and people are different as well. So I don't think I'm the best person to answer what is the right thing to do, but I definitely think that the coronavirus outbreak, COVID-19 outbreak, actually changed a lot of people, their lives, especially a lot of our friends in the industries, the cafes, the baristas. So many friends actually in contact with us. Some of them lost their jobs. Some of them don't know when will they be able to get back to work. And so that's kind of the thing that really worries me. And we are also trying our best to do whatever we can to help our friends and partners. However, we are also not a big company. So we are often in a tough spot that some of our partners or suppliers might need our help, but we're also very limited in the resources, and there's very little things or options we can offer. And so these are the kind of the challenges that when the pandemic just happened, started, we started to feel the pressure from partners, from supply chains, and the friends.
So I know that your company works mostly with baristas, cafes, and on the coffee industry, and you have seen the effects there and how that part of the supply chain is hugely affected. But your company over the last years has been doing a lot of innovation, and I think that that during a crisis like this, we're going to see also innovation on the service industry, within coffee shops, within how we approach coffee servicing. Where do you see opportunities around that? Because I know that you're working really close on the ergonomics and how people are doing things behind the bar. So where do you see opportunities and changes there?
I think most of all, most importantly, I think some of the cafes that doing great jobs where even during this period of time, they still have visitors actually adapt to some kind of changes in their business behavior. In a sense that, for example, that you would probably have to measure the temperature for every customers when they enter the cafe, and they split the tables and the seats apart, maybe like for the social distancing rule regulating. And so that actually helps people to feel, at least the customer feels a little bit more safer in terms of that, okay, the cafes are aware of this issue and they are taking actions to it. And I believe this is actually helping the virus to spread. I mean, again, I'm not the expert to say this, but I think that it will help. And some of the cafes who does this, you would see that they would use up more space. So in a way, I think their overall cost or expense, operating expense, has actually increased, because for the same capacity, it would actually have less customer space to be there, right? So I think these are the challenges so far we've seen, and we've seen some positive signs of making the proper measurements that would help the customer to feel safe and come back into the shop.
So you were saying that most of your employees in Acaia are working from home. So you had that remote working environment in place, and it's really interesting to see that many companies that they didn't have that facility for the employees are going online now. You as a leader and a CEO of a very successful company, what are the experiences that you would like to share with our viewers on managing a team remotely?
Yeah, I think remote working is a real challenge for a lot of people, and different cultures would see this differently. So if you're in a country like in the United States, for example, people are a little bit more used to working through video conferencing or remotely at home, or sometimes at work. Is just the percentage that move more back into the home. And for some other cultures, like people in Asia, they're used to working in the office, like in Japan, for example, like they have to go to the office. And that's actually proven a challenge for some of the traditional or some of the existing corporations. But because we're still very small and the people we work with are very close to us, so we were able to encourage them to work from home without an issue. So I think the only advice I can give for working remotely is actually make sure your staff or your employee or your partners actually have mentally prepared to stay at home working for a long time. I think that is a very difficult practice someone might need to kind of have.
That's really interesting, because I think that as companies, as people, and that's the reason maybe that we travel, we seek that face-to-face interaction, because it's that, I would say, non-working time that we build that more human, I would say, relationships, and more, I would say, we build trust, we build other non-tangible things that have to do with work. Have you how have you been managing that with having all of your staff remote?
So that is the part where it was a little bit difficult during this coronavirus pandemic, because I was traveling a lot. About half of my time is actually traveling and visiting different teams. So to establish the attachment you just mentioned, or the connection between people. And I think in the coffee business, a lot of them is about connecting with people, right? So having a drink of coffee at the coffee shops. So that is actually very, very challenging for even our team. And so we're trying different ways to make these social interactions, the gatherings or connections online. So our team is trying different ways to, for example, hold a party over the video conferencing system, and then have everybody share what they're eating or how they brew their coffee daily, and it becomes a different kind of norm, or it's a different kind of experience actually. And then so it's actually not bad. So I think if people just start trying, getting innovation, like innovative, and then find a way to interact with people through this limited resource of teleconferencing or instant messaging, I think there's going to be a way.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think it's more difficult with members of our teams that are more extroverts, and they seek that face-to-face interaction, where people that they're more introverts, and they can find a bit of space to manage their social life and time with themselves. It's a bit easier, but I definitely relate to what you're saying. So going forward, what are the opportunities that you see that this crisis is bringing, not only to the coffee industry, but for businesses in general and coffee industry specifically?
I think the companies in the coffee industry, I don't know, I can't speak for other companies, but for Acaia, we're also trying to survive. Basically, for all companies, in our size, I think we're all trying to find a way to survive through this. But I think the bright side of this is that this is a global crisis. It's not something that happened individually. It's not something someone done wrong. It's just the norm has changed or is going to be changed. And so I think it's very important for leaders to find a way to adapt to change. I think one of the things I've learned in the past is that I think the best managers is actually managing the changes. So I keep that in mind and figuring out a way, try to make things happen. So some of the things that you already seen, and probably most people have seen, is a lot of businesses are switching or going for more online sales. And I think that is also an opportunity, even for buying coffee, right? Right now, our team is basically at home all the time. So I can't buy coffee like the way I used to, like go to a next door coffee shop and buy them. So I just have to order online. And I think in a way, changing the behavior actually creates opportunities. So that I believe there is going to be a way to get through this, and also find a way to continually grow or survive the company.
Do you think brewing at home is going to be something that will bring business to not only to the coffee shops, but also to equipment manufacturers and I would say allied within the coffee industry, like your business?
I don't know exactly the numbers, but I do see there should be a surge in home brewing. However, there's also a decline in your original business. So sometimes I don't know if it crosses out each other. But overall, I think you're right. Home brewing is definitely going to grow a little bit more. The commercial equipment or the home brewing equipment maybe will have some changes as well.
So I would like to thank you for taking the time today. It has been a real pleasure to have you and discussing how coronavirus has been affecting, and it has been an honor. Thank you so much, Rex.
Thank you very much. Thank you.